This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by legendary boxing promoter Bob Arum here in Quebec City, Canada. Bob, good to see you. Happy New Year. Did you have a good Christmas, a good New Year's?
Yeah, well, I spent Christmas in Japan because Inoue was fighting the next night, and he did what Inoue always does. He knocks his opponent out. And New Year's back in the States.
1, 2,
So
3, 4, 5,
I'm ready.
6,
I'm ready for 2024.
10.
Ready for 2024, and what a way to start it. Artur Beterbiev and Callum Smith. How excited are you for Saturday night, Bob? What goes down between the pair of them?
This is a really good fight. You know, I mean, Smith is a hell of a fighter, but my guy Beterbiev, knocks out everybody we put up against him. So I'm looking forward to a very exciting fight.
Bob, is there any risk of a distraction of a potential Dmitry Bivol fight playing a part on Saturday night? Obviously, we've seen, for example, the Joshua Wilder fight was agreed, and then Deontay Wilder loses just before Christmas. Is there any risk that that becomes a distraction, the potential undisputed bout for Artur?
It won't be a distraction. You win or you don't win. That's boxing.
Obviously, we know Dimitri's come out saying that he's agreed on his behalf to face Artur if he's successful on Saturday night. Have you had any discussions with representatives out in Saudi about the potential undisputed bout?
Yeah, but I haven't talked to Artur about it because he has a very tough fight on Saturday night, and I don't want any distractions.
In the opponent in Callum Smith, he hasn't faced anybody such as an Artur Beterbiev previously. The one time he stepped up to the elite level was Canelo, and he didn't really do too well for himself in that fight. Do you read anything into that when people look at the fight against Canelo and you look at Beterbiev, when he stepped up, he's fallen short?
No, I don't think. A lot of people have fallen short with Canelo. Canelo's a very good fighter. But again, I'm confident in Artur. Again, he's fought some great fighters for us, like Usyk and Marcus Brown, Yard. So, I think he'll do quite well.
Bob, obviously one of the talking points earlier this week was the release of atypical findings from a test from December 6th. Just on your behalf, on Top Rank's behalf, what can you tell me about that?
Well, first, I have to rely on the people doing the testing. And they said that there's nothing to this. Atypical means that there is a trace, something that can be created by your own body, and subsequent tests showed there was no prohibited substance in his body. It was only Eddie Hearn, who should be ashamed of himself, that made an issue of this.
Before we do come on to Eddie, because I know he wasn't necessarily best pleased with not being up on the top stage yesterday, just with the atypical result, is it an ongoing kind of investigation with VADA, or is it all done and dusted?
It's finished. You don't know what atypical means? It means that they're not sure whether there's a small amount, and they're not sure that it comes from a supplement or it's your human body produces it. And subsequent tests showed that it was from the human body because he had no traces or anything of anything bad. I mean, VADA, that's why we all hire them. They're the experts. And if they say there's nothing there, there's nothing there. You're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor, they're doctors. Talk to Margaret Goodman about it.
Well, I appreciate you clearing that one up. And just with Eddie, obviously he wasn't necessarily best pleased that he wasn't allowed on the top stage yesterday. Can you tell me as to why you didn't feel would be appropriate for him to be up there?
No, it's for the fighters. Am I going to be up there? No. I mean, Eddie Hearn being up there, not being up there, doesn't attract one viewer or sell one ticket. he's got to forget about the fact that it's all about him. It isn't. It isn't all about me. It's about the fighters.
Bob, moving forwards, obviously, as I'm from the UK, Josh Taylor, Catterall, seems to be a lot of talk about that fight, that teams on both sides want to make it happen. Are you confident? Where do things currently sit with a potential rematch?
Yeah, I think we're trying to put it together. Hopefully it'll happen.
When would you like to have that fight done by if it was to be next?
Well, I don't like this cold weather, so I'd like it probably sometime in the spring.
Obviously, earlier on, Bob, you mentioned Inoue-Nery. What a special talent he is. It's either him or Terence or Usyk when people consider the top 3 fighters in the world. What next for him? There's a lot of reports about that Nery fight being close to being announced.
Yeah, we're very confident that that fight will happen in May. It's not done yet, but we're confident that it will be in May.
When people watch Inoue-Nery and they see him produce the performances like he did against Tapales, there's all that talk of how far can he go, how much higher up can he go. Where do you think Inoue-Nery's future career will lead to?
Well, he's very open about that. He said he's going to stay at 122 for the rest of this year, and then in 25 we'll consider going to featherweight.
Bob, just moving away from Inoue-Nery, George Kambosos Jr. and Vasily Lomachenko, what can you tell me about that, Bob?
That looks good. We hope to do that in Australia right after the Inoue-Nery fight.
And then again, moving forwards, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk were so close, Bob. Everybody's excited for an undisputed king to be announced in heavyweight division. People questioning Tyson's most recent performance, people questioning Usyk against Dubois. What do you make of this fight as we draw ever closer?
I think we'll see the best of Fury and the best of Usyk, and the best guy will win. It's a great fight.
For you, Bob, is Alexander Usyk going to be the toughest test of Tyson Fury's career?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Fury may be the toughest fight in Usyk's career. Usyk may be the toughest fight in Fury's career. Who's going to win, we don't know. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I can't wait for February 17th.
Even though you're not promoting them, what have you made of Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou fight?
Don't discount Ngannou. Ngannou is, as he showed in the Fury fight, a real talent as a boxer. Fury is going to have his hands full.
Next week, Bob, in the UK, Michaela Mayer, somebody you know well, faces Tasha Jones. Is she confident? You think she'll pick up a world title once again?
I hope so. I love Michaela. She's the first women fighter in the new era that we signed. She's a lovely person, very articulate, hell of a fighter. So I'm rooting for her. It should be a good battle.
Just 2 more updates from you, please, Bob. Obviously, Teofimo Lopez, Joshua-Ortiz, a fantastic fight. Joshua-Ortiz gave Vasily Lomachenko some great rounds. What challenges does he pose to Teofimo? What are you hoping Teofimo shows?
He's going to give Teofimo a hell of a fight. Thankfully, Teofimo is training really hard for the fight, and in Vegas, it's Super Bowl week, so we'll have a tremendous crowd there. So I'm looking forward to that.
I have to ask Bob, Teofimo said that Oscar offered him $1.5 million to face Ryan Garcia. Obviously, that didn't proceed to go anywhere. But what can you tell me about that? Because obviously Oscar De La Hoya has since denied that, and there's been back and forth between them.
Well, I met with Oscar about doing that fight, but I think Garcia would prefer an easier opponent.
Shakur Stevenson, finally, Bob. What's the latest with Shakur?
Shakur's coming to see me next week in Las Vegas, and we're going to talk about his future and future fights. So I don't want to say anything until I meet with him.
No problem, Bob. I appreciate your time as always. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Quebec, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.